So I think Eze and Saka have just given us a glimpse at the future, or at least the future I think Arsenal should have. Both of them scored. England won 2-0 against Serbia, and they scored the kind of goals that give us an insight as to what we can expect from these two players throughout the rest of this season, I think, and in terms of where their future lies, especially with the return of other players like Noni Madueke, like Kai Havertz, like Martin Odegaard and others, and and then there's others, for example, Ethan Nwaneri developing and all that. So I really think we've got an idea into the future of Arsenal with Eze and Saka's goals, the only 2 goal scorers for England. But there's also a little bit of strange commentary and reaction around all that, which I want to address in this video as well. Let's talk about the goals. I think we'll start with the obvious point I'm trying to make. I think the point that most of you seeing this title would have thought the minute I sort of, typed it out was Emirates Eze and his goal, giving us a glimpse into his future on the left wing. As Arsenal are attacking, as England are attacking, it's Phil Foden who rolls it to Emirates Eze, who's on the left. It's a counter-attack for England. And he opens his body up and curls it into the top far corner. It's a really, really good finish from Emirates Eze. A proper good goal, really aesthetically pleasing finish when you see it kind of curled into the top corner. Keeper's got no chance on the counter-attack. The reason I say it's a glimpse into the future is because, for me, Martin Odegaard, a lot of people thought Eze was coming in maybe to displace him, to take Odegaard's place in the team. And look, that might be the area he has to go for right now, with Odegaard injured and Trossard in brilliant form. But I do think in the long term, Eze's position is out on that left-hand side, from touchline winger to second number 10, moving inside, outside. Calafiori, doing what he does. I think lewis-skelly will earn his place back into the team. And being someone who's on the end of moves like that and not the one creating it. That Phil Foden pass, I think, will come from our own left-footed number 10 type player in Martin Odegaard. I think Eze is always better off being on the end of that move, being the finisher, than being the provider. Now, we've seen Eze play provider before this season. We'll talk about that. But I just think his skill set... I remember Jess on Loose Cannons describing him as a low-touch player, where Odegaard's a high-touch player, Eze's quite low-touch. And I know what she means. He's basically a player who you don't want him carrying the ball up the pitch and sort of threading through balls and trying to sort of run a game of football. I think the fact that Arsenal have asked him to do that this season has been why we haven't seen him at his very best. You want him on the end of moves. You want him doing what Trossard did the other day at Sunderland, rifling into the roof of the net, which he's just shown a few days later for England he can do himself. He can find that far corner. He can be someone who gets goals and assists by being on the end of moves, not trying to run a game of football. It's a really great goal. And I really think Arsenal's future is Saka, Odegaard and Eze behind Gyökeres for me. But I mean, who knows who Arteta will go with. But that's the system I'd go with. So a little glimpse into the future there with Emirates Eze. Before we talk about Saka's side of things, there's a couple more things I want to talk about. A lot of conversation around whether Eze should even be in the squad and whether he's playing his best football for Arsenal and because there are a lot of players like Rashford, like Anthony Gordon, like Bellingham, Foden, Saka, Madueke, all these players play in that kind of trio behind the striker. And here's how I kind of view it. Firstly, I see Eze as one of very few players for England who are match winners. Maybe not very few. I mean, Kane, Foden, Bellingham all can be. But I think in terms of, off the left, Saka can be too. But I think in terms of off the left, I don't know, I think he's quite a unique profile in the squad. I do see Foden and Bellingham as more central players. I see Eze as a wide player. I know Rashford's playing very well for Barca. Okay, to be fair, I slightly retract that statement because actually there's quite a few match winners in that squad. But I think what I'm trying to say is I don't think there's any other players of Eze's profile in the squad. So I think he's got to be in there. But secondly, okay, he might not be in his best form for Arsenal, I hear that. But he's already, this season, since making the move from Palace to Arsenal, scored 2 really good goals for England on international duty. Another one where he sort of, cut in onto his right foot and found the far corner. So he's got those 2 moments for England. He's got the pass over the top against Man City, the assist for Gabriel Martinelli. He's got an assist for Gyökeres against Forest. He's got a winner against Palace at the Emirates. I mean, generally, for someone who supposedly isn't in his best form, I've just picked out 5 pretty key moments. And this is what players like Eze do. This is what match winners do. This is what moments players do. They cannot be at their best, yet you can continuously pull out the moments they've had through the season. Again, even when they've not been at their scintillating best, I think if you gave Eze's season a rating, you'd give him a 5 or a 6 out of 10. Yet he's had 8 or 9 out of 10 moments, and that just speaks to the quality of Emirates Eze. So I think any questions over his place in the squad for me are ridiculous, but hey ho. I also found a little bit strange, and look, big up to Lee Dixon and what he did in an Arsenal shirt. Okay, should never go underestimated, but I thought his co-commentary, it was Leon co-coms, wasn't it? I thought his co-commentary was a bit strange, and I saw quite a few people in the Arsenal, on the Arsenal timeline on Twitter or whatever, talking about it. And it was actually followed up by a question where I think the interviewer asked Eze after the game, was the key to your goal Foden's pass? And Lee Dixon, he did give credit to the finish from Eze, but he kind of goes on in the co-coms about the genius of Foden's pass. I've never played the game. He was a pro footballer and one who achieved great things at Arsenal. So maybe I should just shut up and listen to what the pros have to say. But for me, it's a good pass from Foden. Yeah, he needs, the weight of pass is important. Yes, he does need to get that bit right. But it's all about Eze's finish. That goal is all because of Eze. And I do think there's a little bit of a bias towards players like Phil Foden and stuff in English media or whatever. He can do no wrong, it feels. And so he's kind of being credited for a nice pass. It's pretty good, but it's a great finish from Eze. And then the interviewer to ask Eze, who's pulled out that finish, to say, was the key Foden's pass? No, the key was the brilliance of Emirates Eze to use his right foot and curl it into the top corner like that. I found that very, very bizarre. Speaking of, by the way, this is kind of in line, but not really. The Goonerverse podcast's out later today, and Sharoy and I talk about rage baiting in good detail, and we go through some of our favourite rage bait tweets and posts, so go look out for that. That's out at 3 p.m. today. Anyway, I talked about the future, I talked about Bukayo Saka. Now with him, it's less a positional thing, and it's more an output thing. It's a brilliant finish, as it's kind of looped in the air, and it falls to Bukayo Saka on his left foot. But he does so well to left foot volley with his side foot and guide it beyond the keeper. It's a curled side foot finish into the far corner. It's really, really good from Bukayo. And I think what that gives us a glimpse into is that this kid is going to get... He's not a kid, but I think we all kind of see him as that, don't we? He's our Bukayo Saka, but he's not. He's a man. He's a leader in this Arsenal team. And I think it gives us a glimpse into the output that's going to return. A lot of people felt pre-injury, pre the hamstring surgery back in December, January. A lot of people were talking about Bukayo Saka as a player who just had tremendous output. He was on course to break Thierry Henry's assist record. Whether he'd have done it or not, we'll never know. And he was getting goals, important goals too. And people thought maybe he'd kind of lost that because the GA hasn't really been there this season. But sometimes it's just about momentum and rhythm. He'll get that back. He will absolutely get that back, Bukayo Saka. And you saw that with the confidence of that finish. I mean, you saw that with the finish against Sunderland, right, too? So this is 3 goals in just over a week, with the penalty in Prague, the goal at Sunderland, and the goal for England. Important goals. The first goal for Arsenal to equalise against Sunderland. The first goal for England at 0-0. And brilliantly taken ones at that, with his left and right foot. He'll be back amongst the goals and assists. But Arsenal can have serious output from their wide players, Eze and Saka, if they keep these two fit. And if Zubimendi, Rice and Ødegaard do their thing in midfield, Gyökeres can link up. I honestly think we can get major output from a front three of Eze, Gyökeres and Saka. People say it's harsh from Trossard. Listen, the shirt is Trossard's at the moment. He will continue to start while he's in this form. But long term, I think those players will be in that front three, and I think they'll get numbers for Arsenal. I've no doubt about it. And when people ask, how do Arsenal match what Erling Haaland's doing? Look, no one can match what Erling Haaland's doing. But as a collective, I think we can put up the numbers to get Arsenal as a team, the numbers that match or better Man City's. All right, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Congrats to Eze and Saka. Great goals. Hope for more good news about the international break, because Arsenal have been pretty productive in the international breaks so far this season.